Antarctica. It is the coldest place ever. I'm in the middle of Australia, mate. Can you believe this? I'm in Alice Springs in the middle of TIO Traeger Park ahead of this big clash against GWS. The place you come to for warmth, it's colder than Melbourne. What is going on, mate?
What's the temperature?
Well, I was talking to a fella down in Todd Street Mall this morning, having a coffee, my morning coffee and a morning stroll, in a beanie, gloves, 3 or 4 layers. And I said to the bloke, what is going on? He couldn't answer. He said, but this is the second lowest, I guess, for this day or yesterday, temperature recording ever since they started. And there's no rhyme or reason to it because it could be 25 degrees in 3 or 4 days' time. It's just low pressures, and the rain has come in. The Todd River is not running. It's still dry, but they reckon a little bit more of this, and it could be. There's Alex Bullen in the background doing his little warm-up just ahead of this game. Nibbler. So we're right in the thick of it, Davo.
You know what they say, mate? Everywhere you go, you always take the weather with you.
That's right. Crowded House, they said it best, didn't they?
Don't go travelling around Australia and taking the cold weather with you. Because you were in Perth and apparently it was cold there too.
It is cold all over Australia at the moment. I don't know what's going on. The world's gone crazy. But, mate, there's an electric vibe still up here. The locals are out. They're out and about. If you can hear that noise in the background, that's blowers. For you using blower backs here, this is how good the drainage of the soil is. And the water sort of, look, it's going to be a slippery game, but what they try to do is blow that water off the top there. It's
are they blowing
basic.
it?
It's not MCG sort of technology, but certainly getting the job done in the middle of Australia, mate.
Are they electric? Are they electric blowers?
Yes. No, they're petrol run. Petrol at the moment.
What's the forecast looking like?
Well, it's going to be like this all day. There was word that it's it'll sort of dry out a bit as the day goes on, but I don't know. You can see the start of the McDonnell Ranges in the background. You can see the sort of ghosty in the background there. That's usually the beautiful backdrop of playing at this time of year, but you can't see it. So look, I had a dinner last night with all the big dogs. Channel 7 were there. Brian Taylor and Nathan Jones was there as well. It's good to see he's going to be working the commentary this afternoon. And Chrissy Johnson and all the Melbourne Football Club sponsors were there. It was a wonderful night. Everyone comes up for this and they just absolutely love this. This is going to last a long time, this game in Alice Springs. Well, as long as Channel 7 are involved, because they think it's really important. And there was this great speech, and I just want to mention really quickly, made by the CEO of Channel 7. He's got a lot to do with Alice Springs, has a property up here. I believe he's got a station. He's talking about how football has the ability to save lives. Wherever it goes, it creates an amazing response. And unless you come here to Alice Springs, we sort of take it for granted in Melbourne, don't we? That we've got sport, we've got theatre, we've got everything. But there's not a lot that goes on here. This is like the biggest party ever, and the locals, they just love it. And the chatter is, it saves lives. It really does save lives here in the middle of Australia. So if you haven't come to Alice Springs for this game or travel to see football, just come and see the effect that it has on the local community. It's wonderful.
That's awesome, mate. And so what was the dinner all about? What, and how did you get up there? How did you get up to Alice Springs?
It was, mate, you tried to get up with me, I know that. But unfortunately, the flights were ridiculous, and unfortunately, that's what happens too. So a lot of supporters would love to be here for this game, but aren't able to, just because of the rising costs. And that's what they do. They hike prices around holiday times, don't they? And
That's smart.
AFL footy. But we were lucky enough to get a chartered plane up here. So I came up with the players, all very relaxed on the plane, the umpires as well. I'll tell you what, it's the way to fly. There was no security. It was just walk in. They offered me a coffee. I sat down and then ushered onto the plane and off we went. It was brilliant.
Did you fly 2 teams together, or was it just Melbourne?
No, just Melbourne. And obviously GWS came in from Sydney, so
we
didn't have to go via Sydney. We came straight in. I'm going to turn the phone the right way for you, mate. It's probably the best. No,
it's all right. It's all right. No, you go back the other way.
Go the other way?
You were good before.
Right. Okay.
So interesting flight. And how long? So you were flying up there?
About two and a half hours. Yeah, two and a half
Chartered
hours.
flight. Very
Chartered
nice.
flight. It's on a plane that travels down to Antarctica and flies over Antarctica. So I think it's a Paul Little, the board member for the Essendon Football Club. It's his business out there. So I'll tell you what.
Nice.
The only way to fly, mate. I'm not going through Tullamarine ever again. As Bailey Frick's about to go and do a warm up there with our forward line coach Greg Stafford.
Nice.
The whole Melbourne Football Club's here. Clayton Oliver's here, which is good to see. He was training with the boys yesterday afternoon, I should say, and looked free. Looked like he was, but he's just not quite ready for, I guess, the rigours of AFL footy. So he'll be back soon.
Nice.
How's things in Melbourne, mate? Is it cold down there?
Mate, it's beautiful. Since you've left, it's I don't know, everyone. Don't tell Robbo, but it's 25 degrees, not a cloud in the sky. It's absolutely perfect. And how's the team? Have you been mingling with the team? Are they confident?
I had a chat to Harmsy this morning. Bumped into him in Todd Street Mall. He was having a coffee with Jesse Hogan, who now plays for the GWS, so they're obviously mates. It's his 150th game today, so congratulated him. He's all pumped up for the game, excited for it. Look, it's going to be a slippery affair. I know that it always is in the wet, but the water sort of sits on top of the ground here, and the ball will get really cakey. So they'll make a lot of mistakes, but that's all right. It won't be draining on the legs because the drainage system's up here, and when you play in Perth, you know what that's like, mate. The water goes away pretty quick, drains down into the ground.
They got blower vacs, mate. So if they keep blowing, it's sort of like mopping up the netball court, only for it to start pouring with rain again, like 10 minutes later, and you're like, why did I just do that? It keeps people jobs.
I'm going to wipe the screen because you're all underwater for me. Oh, hang on. Look at that. Just wipe it on the jumper. There,
is it raining? Is it raining?
It's raining. It has not stopped since we arrived here. Like this. It's just sort of just drizzly. It's kind of depressing. It's so Melbourne-like. It's like Melbourne's playing here. We better have the weather for Melbourne. So,
and does that favour Melbourne or GWS?
I reckon it favours probably Melbourne. GWS, I look at their playing group. They've got some tall forwards and actually some decent backline players. They've got height about them. But the interesting one for us is Ben Brown. He comes in, this forward line has probably been the talk. Oh. How do we fix the forward line and how do we kick goals? Well, Ben Brown's come back into the team. And I'm just looking around all the time, Dave. I'm trying to find someone to just chuck on an interview. But everyone's sort of gone inside right now, so timing's everything. But Ben Brown is quite good in the wet. Did you know this?
I didn't know that. Well, he's from Ballarat.
Well, 6'5". No, he's from Tassie. So.
Oh, of course. Of course he's good in the wet. Ballarat, Tassie, cold, wet, windy.
On it. Can you believe I'm in the middle of Australia, not far from, Ayers Rock, Uluru, and I'm wearing a beanie, and I need the beanie, and it's not enough. I am I can't explain how cold I am. I am so cold. Everyone's got hand warmers in their pockets. It's ridiculous. Yeah, you know that.
When I was thinking about coming up and I looked at the price of the flights and I was like, the flight cost isn't that bad. It's really the weather.
The weather. You and your Raynaud's disease, mate. Your Raynaud's wouldn't hold up.
I just don't want to go out. I'm not going outside. I'm sorry. It looks properly raining, though. It looks like I just saw it then and the rain was coming across the camera.
Look at it. It's ridiculous. And it's been like this consistently since we've got here. So, we're here and we're going to make the best of it. Look, at the end of the day, we just need a win. And there's a few supporters up here. They've come up for the game, and that's the chairman's up there. Last year, remember, Dave, I was up there and I got caught on camera wiping my mouth with my polo shirt after I was down in a chicken skewer. That was on that show that I used to be on Fox Footy. So that's the chairman's up there. There's a couple of tents over there where everybody sort of sits, and that's the presidents.
How many D's fans are up there at the moment? There's a couple of people that have joined. I think Susie said that she's up there at the moment. So there's a couple of supporters that are at the ground.
Yep, there's a few, and there's a few around town. And every year when we do this, there's a lot that come up for it. They put it on their social calendar early, buy the tickets, and that's the key. I think you've got to buy the tickets early to make it work. Sorry, mate. There's just nobody to interview. They've all gone
That's
inside.
all right.
Weak.
Mate,
They've all gone inside.
So Barry's just given us an update from Casey at 3/4 time. We're going around the ground.
Around the ground.
Old times. So the Demons are up 12-12-84 to GWS 3-12-30. So
brilliant.
Nice update from Barry. Thanks for sharing that. And what's your prediction for today's game, mate? What do you think?
Mate, I reckon the Demons will get home. I think it's going to be pretty close, and that's probably because of the weather. It'll just pull the scoring back a little bit. What I'd really like to see is Cozzy Pickett tear it up like he did last year when he kicked 5 last year in the centre of Australia and set it alight. And that's what we need in our forward line. We just need some excitement and something that makes everybody go. There's Jakey Lever's going to run past me. He's going out for a bit of a kick around, warm up. We just need some excitement and some enthusiasm about our forward line. Just something that the opposition's going to look at and go, wow, this is a really tough unit to stop. And they just haven't been able to find that magic over the last 5 or 6 weeks. Once they find that, and maybe Ben Brown is the answer. Maybe, Tommy McDonald, when he gets himself right again, maybe he's that as well, because he's still injured, and we're looking probably around about round 18, 19 for him to come back. But who knows, he could play finals football. So he makes a massive difference. It only really takes 1 or 2 players in the forward line to upset defensive apple carts. If you know what I mean by that, it just sort of creates a whole different sort of look. The midfield, teams will be sending out a plan to stop Petrarca and Oliver, and they'll know what they're doing there. But the forward line is a really weird beast. It's a different beast. It's like when I used to play with Nita, we were just told to go out there and just be creative, do something, It's not structured. Be mayhem, throw the ball around, keep it in, kick it off the ground. There's no typical sort of stuff, coaching stuff, which I loved about the forward line because we're always trying to keep the ball alive.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think Bailey Fritsch.
This is ridiculous. Big Mummy can't believe it, mate. It's like, what the hell?
There we go.
We bring this from Melbourne, or do we bring it from Sydney?
What is going on here?
This is ridiculous. The Big Mummy. What were we saying? Where were we?
Mate, you ran into Big Mummy. I thought you were going to tackle him, but I know you don't tackle.
Yeah, don't want to tackle. You don't want to tackle him either.
No, you don't. You tackle and run. I think, Bailey Fritsch is in really good form, and Cozzy's playing well. I think Brown coming in will be really interesting, and if they can.
You're spot on about Bailey Fritsch, but he needs to be the second or third forward like I used to need to be when I was playing. Well, early days for me anyway. I needed to be that second or third sort of string in the forward line to just be able to run around and do what I did without having that super focus on me. But I feel like Bailey's got that focus and defensive focus centred on him, and he likes to get off the chain. So if Ben Brown can be the guy that they're sort of running to, then Bailey can sort of do his sideways 45-degree leads that he's so good at, and use that pack for a bit of leverage. He's not a pack marker as such, but he really is good at leveraging off the pack and pushing bodies away, which is kind of what I used to do. I used to jump, throw my legs into it and try to get them off balance and keep my feet, jump on it and kick a goal. And that's what he's really cat-like like that. But he needs that big guy, and we just haven't had that big guy. Obviously, Van Ruin came in. Now, I've had a chat about him to some of the coaches on the way up. I'm going to wipe this phone again. I had a chat to some of the coaches on the way up about that, and they said, pressure. He's a young man. Form dipped a little bit. What they want to do is get him back working on a few things and get himself ready for maybe a red-hot September, August, September. But he's really apparently taken it really well and appreciative. Wants to go back, get a few touches. It's been a little bit hard in our forward line for him, so he doesn't need all that pressure, does he? He just needs a little bit of form back, and he'll be right. I love him. We all love him. I still think he's going to be a fantastic player. But Ben Brown, I think we can trust Ben Brown to sort of do the right thing when he gets the ball.
Takes time to mature as a key forward and a ruckman, and I think having Jack Watts on the show previously was a good indication of take your time with talent and let him grow into the role. And I think taking your time with Van Ruin is a smart move.
I like that comment. Take your time with talent. You kind of have to, and we've got that wrong in the past. And nursing this big guy through, and he is a big boy. He's going to develop into a David Schwartz type. He's just got to be nurtured through. You don't destroy them. Liam Jarrah probably could be. I mean, I know he had other issues and stuff, but he'll be here today somewhere. And if I can grab him for a quick interview for next week, that'd be
amazing.
Yeah. So he's always
even
up for a chat.
Even a quick cameo if you grab him and just do a little video, and we can share it with the Robbo Live team.
That's it, mate.
During the week sometime.
My eyes are darting around looking for somebody. I've got to be careful because you know how strict they are with interviews these days.
Yeah, we're breaking the rules again.
Oh, yeah, I'm in trouble. Channel 7, they're right there. They're setting up. If they knew that I was doing Robbo Live, which is more popular than anything on Channel 7.
It's bigger than Taylor Swift.
It is, mate. Try to get tickets to our next podcast. You'll be on 3 or 4 computers, pressing refresh to get tickets all day long.
It's a hard thing to do, mate. I probably should let you go. Like you, yeah. I'm around if you want to jump back on, but I'll be sitting by the fire. I have a Chardonnay. I have a Chardonnay, and I'll be watching. Yeah. I can go back live and interview as you need, but fly the flag for us up there, mate, and hope the D's get a win.
Yeah, what I want to do, Dave, is I want to go down there behind the goals to where the Demon Army is and talk to some of those guys, get a couple of interviews there, and maybe I'll send them back to you. Maybe we'll jump on again. I'll just keep you updated.
Just ping me and I'll jump back on.
Yeah, they're phenomenal, mate. They go everywhere. Some of them spend a night in Brisbane to be able to come here and they do it off their own. They don't, they just go everywhere to support the team. It's not necessarily to watch the game, it's to support the team. It's a phenomenal thing, mate. They're awesome. So I'll go down there and I'll probably grab a couple of those guys. And maybe half-time we'll do something.
Sounds good, man. I'm available to jump on at any point. So everyone keep an eye on the Robbo Live Facebook page or the YouTube channel, and we might come back on as and when. This is random ad hoc broadcasting at its best. Channel 7 it is not.
We do it well, though.
And I love your pink headset. Where did you get that from?
I just found that. I scrounged that up in a room over there before. I've stolen it, and it's actually working a treat. I'm not giving it back.
I love it, mate. Well, enjoy. Don't get too wet. Keep your hands warm. And we might drop in and we'll see you again in a bit.
Good on you, legend. Talk to you later. Bye.